This is the evening news of Friday, November 14, 2014. I'm Michael Young. Thanks for joining us. Making the headlines tonight, President Ramatar to again approach opposition for talks. Bandit shot dead, 2 apprehended in shootout. DPP says enough evidence for charges against NBS trio implicated in $6 to $9 million fraud. Granger demands that Hickins keep his distance. Whitaker warns NDC overseers about poor performance, and $34 million water plant commissioned at the hospital. It's now time for your news in detail. President Donald Ramatar has today announced his decision to have dialogue with the opposition political parties within days. He made the announcement earlier at the office of the president at a press conference with media operatives.
Based on his discussions with stakeholders and members of civil society, President Donald Ramatar said he will be making an application to the opposition to commence dialogue within days on critical issues facing the nation.
I have already been working on my own negotiation team, and very soon I will be inviting the opposition in a matter of days. I will be inviting the opposition in for us to begin the dialogue. I know that I've been hearing in the public that they have been saying that they will not want to speak with us, but I will take that as a force. I will interpret that as being their first position. And I would say that hopefully when the emotions would have being removed from this, that good sense and maturity will prevail.
Addressing the many criticisms which have surfaced since the prorogation of Parliament, Ramatar said he warned the opposition during an address to the nation days before the November 10th sitting. But both the Partnership for National Unity and the Alliance for Change failed to take heed.
Even though I had made pronouncement that the opposition were being unreasonable to ask me to set a date for local government elections when at the same time they had a motion of no confidence on the table. I did indicate that I was ready to go to local government election in the second quarter of next year, and that is fundamentally based on the timeline that GCOM has given me, not only in words but in writing. They have a letter to say that they will need 6 months in order to prepare for a local government elections. And I did say that the second quarter of next year, I was ready to hold the local government elections. Well, despite that, the opposition clearly indicated that they were going to suspend the business of the parliament and to go for the no confidence motion.
The president also made it clear that his decision to prorogue the parliament was within the confines of the law. Hence, the accusation of him abusing the constitution is baseless. The president was also accused of being a dictator, but this too was debunked.
The accusation that this is creating a dictatorship or a semi-dictatorship and all of that makes really no sense when you think about it. Because it gives me, prorogation does not give me a new power or anything new authority, nothing it has given me that will turn me into a dictator. So I think most of that, some of it probably was designed to fool the gullible and some to try to create misunderstanding and confusion.
Svetlana Marshall reporting for the Evening News.
A suspected bandit was today shot dead while 2 others were apprehended during a shootout with police at Alexander and Pike Streets, Kitty, Georgetown. The incident took place at about 12:15. The dead man, who was identified as Royston Waldron, 42 of William Street, Kitty, was shot at least 3 times in the region of his chest. He was rushed to the Georgetown Public Hospital where he succumbed while receiving medical treatment. Hospital officials confirmed that the man was taken to the medical facility at about 12:30 but died a few minutes later. However, according to information received, police would have received a tip-off that Waldron and two other men were about to commit a robbery. As police arrived on the scene and in the area, the men reportedly opened fire, and police retaliated by discharging a few rounds in their direction, hitting Waldron in the process. A .32 Taurus pistol, 4 spent shells, and 1 live round were retrieved at the scene. Waldron was reportedly being fingered in the disappearance of the St. Stanislaus teacher, Nkosi Goodman, who was last seen at the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall. Labour Minister Dr. Nanda Kishore Gopal has refuted statements made by sacked New Building Society manager Maurice Arjun and said his lawyers have advised him to challenge the Ombudsman report. Details in this story. The New Building Society manager, Maurice Arjun, had made several claims in the report, excerpts of which have been published in various sections of the media. Many of these persons who are in that report were not afforded the opportunity to respond to any of the allegations made against them. The NBS was not consulted to explain why, the minister told the Evening News. According to him, the bank had dismissed Arjun as a result of a fraud committed where millions of dollars were illegally withdrawn from a customer's account under his watch. Dr. Gopal maintained that Arjun's dismissal was as a result of negligence and had nothing to do with the financing of the Berbice River Bridge. Arjun claimed in the report that Dr. Gopal telephoned him and said that as President Jagdeo did not get the $2 billion for the Berbice Bridge, he, the president, will deal with Arjun. Arjun, Ken Vincent and Kisun Baldio in June 1, 2007 were all charged with fraud over the withdrawal of some $69 million from a savings account. The charges were dismissed, but they were already sacked by the NBS, which cited fraud, negligence and serious misconduct. The Ombudsman report has cleared the 3 managers, saying that there was no evidence in the police file against them. Arjun had sued the bank for wrongful dismissal and the matter was dismissed in the High Court. The minister will issue a more detailed statement shortly. 4th Evening News, Michael Young reporting. A Partnership for National Unity's leader David Granger issued a stern warning to A Division Commander Clifton Hicken that he keeps away from the APNU's planned rally. Details in this story.
As commander of the police division, he is taking time off of his busy schedule of training his riot squad to respond to what we requested. And I expect that the meeting will go on tonight without provocation from the police, because it will be an orderly and lawful meeting, and I expect Mr. Hickens to keep his distance.
This comes after Hickens would have recently spearheaded riot training with the Tactical Service Unit at Ivleary. According to a release from the coalition, Hickens had written to the party informing it that permission to use the Square of the Revolution for its rally had to be granted by the office of the president. However, APNU contends that Coffee Square is a public place by law and no permission has to be sought from the office of the president. Granger, however, was very unyielding in his stance that the public should not be harmed during tonight's APNU rally and future demonstrations.
As far as I know, the Square of the Revolution is a public thoroughfare. It is not a private park. People have had access to that square for decades. Cars drive, people are taught to drive there, weddings take place there, all sorts of meetings take place. It's a public park, it's not a private park. I cannot imagine that under the Constitution, the citizens of Georgetown or the citizens of Guyana should seek permission to assemble in a public place. And that was made clear to Mr. Hickens. I don't know what he's getting stressed out about. I don't see that we should have to apply for permission to anybody to assemble in a public place. Assembly is guaranteed right of every citizen.
When asked what measures were in place to ensure that foreign disruptive elements do not infiltrate and incite violence at the demonstrations, Granger had this to say.
Let us be clear that protesting is a guaranteed constitutional right. People are entitled to protest against what they see to be wrong. And what we have done over the last 3 years is ensure that all of the protests were conducted in an orderly and peaceful manner. Permission has been sought. We protested against Mr. Rohi's continuance in office. We protested against what happened in Linden, and we protested calling for local government elections. So I can tell the business community they have nothing to fear from the people, from the Partnership for National Unity. We've given every direction, every instruction to ensure that the protests will go on, but the protests will be orderly. It is possible, as you say, that agents provocateurs could be planted among the ranks of the protesters, but that is an occupational hazard. We've asked our supporters, the supporters of the APNU, to ensure that any known agents are not allowed to misbehave.
The People's National Congress, which is one of the major parties in APNU, has a history of violence and disruptive protests. In 2011, the coalition protested the results of the general elections. During that protest, several civilians and members of parliament were shot with what was reported to be rubber pellets. For the Evening News, Samantha Lane.
This is the Evening News. More news still ahead. Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. Let's continue with what's happening locally. In this report, we hear that a Partnership for National Unity Member of Parliament, Carl Greenidge, says that the remigrant scheme needs attention. Here's why in this report.
Chairman of the now defunct Public Accounts Committee, Carl Greenidge, has blasted the manner in which the overall administration of the remigrant scheme and the tax regime as a whole operate. But while he was willing to criticize the scheme from a more or less theoretical perspective, he was totally unwilling to comment on the ongoing investigation that the Auditor General Office and the Guyana Revenue Authority, GRA, are conducting into identified abuses. The former finance minister under the People's National Congress, PNC, said that several issues needed to be addressed at the level of the administration. Greenidge explained to this publication that those issues currently affecting the effective administration of the scheme range from value-added tax VAT to the excise tax. Greenidge indicated that attention needs to be given to the entire tax regime in Guyana. For the Evening News, Samantha Lane.
The Director of Public Prosecutions has lashed out at the Ombudsman for a recent report in which he said that the dismissal of 3 New Building Society employees was wrongful. Details in this report. Director of Public Prosecutions Bibi Shamilar Hack today said that the Guyana Police Force would have presented enough evidence for her to recommend that charges be instituted. In a release to the media today, Hack said that the DPP cannot be held responsible for the fact that the victim did not attend court to testify against these persons. The DPP maintained that she discharged her remit within the confines of the Constitution. It was also hinted that because of her ruling, the DPP was confirmed in the position by the then President Barry Jagdeo, but she contended that this was not the case, noting that she was both appointed to act and confirmed in the post by the Judicial Service Commission. Former NBS manager Maurice Arjun, assistant mortgage manager Kisun Baldio, and operations manager Ken Vincent, in addition to several other employees, were in 2006 charged in connection with the $69 million fraud at the NBS. Arjun in June 2011 had filed a $2 million lawsuit against the government for malicious prosecution. This was dismissed after Justice Dawn Gregory found that only 2 out of the 4 claims of malicious intent were verified. For the Evening News, Michael Young. A Partnership for National Unity today said it believes the government is moving in the general direction of a national election. More details in this report.
Opposition leader David Granger says that he has no confidence that the president will honor a recent commitment and hold local government elections in or before June 2015. According to Granger, the executive and the People's Progressive Party Civic have redirected their attention to general and regional elections.
Bear in mind that what you saw on Monday was not a preparation for orderly government, not a preparation for budgetary discussion. PPP is preparing for elections.
The opposition leader, in justifying his claims, said that several developmental projects, such as the One Laptop Per Family, are all election gimmicks. Both parties have expressed a readiness for general elections. However, up until recently, APNU has been protesting in front of the office of the president, demanding a date for local government polls. Guyana have been without local government elections for some 20 years. Royden James, reporting for the Evening News.
The Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation has opened a new water treatment plant worth $34 million to ensure water is adequately and sufficiently provided at the hospital to facilitate its many divisions. Details in this story.
The water treatment plant at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation was commissioned today, though it has been fully functioning for 2 weeks. Michael Kahn, Chief Executive Officer of GPHC, said that the treatment plant was tested by the Guyana's Food and Drug Department during that time and declared functional.
We have plans how we will sterilize the bottles and how we will do the other procedures, etc. And the water has been tested by the Food and Drug, and when you tour the plant, you'll see it's up on the wall.
He added that the opening of the water plant will help the hospital to save huge sums of money, as it would not be dependent anymore on water suppliers.
In 2 or 3 years, this plant should pay for itself. We won't have to be spending money, like say presently we use Banks DIH to supply us with water, while we have stopped it for the past 2 weeks, and I hope that it will continue.
Nevertheless, Minister of Health Barry Ramsaran urged hospital attendees to recognize water as an important resource that needs to be valued.
The Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation is pushing the boundaries to enable a more efficient and judicious service for patients with the opening of a section of the new inpatient ward to the public.
The new inpatient ward was opened within the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation today. According to Minister of Health Barry Ramsaran, the ward will attend to the excess of patients that sometimes swarm the Accident and Emergency Division.
We will be able to move patients faster out of the A&E. Some patients are in the A&E and they're being observed there for a protracted time, which the doctors not necessarily want to have there. They want to keep patients moving, but because of space constraints, sometimes you would have had your loved ones having to be cared in the A&E for protracted periods. This now will end with this additionality.
The minister shared that the hospital has been trying to effect changes to ensure that patients' needs are given priority. Michael Kahn, Chief Executive Officer of the hospital, also assured that efforts are being made to improve the service offered.
And that should make it a little better for us. That we won't have patients waiting too long in line here. Sometimes, I'll be honest, sometimes 24 hours, sometimes 14 hours, sometimes to the final bed space. But it's not for the critically ill patients, it's for those patients who need to be admitted and be monitored and sent home.
The new inpatient ward cost a total of $94 million and will give the hospital an addition of 96 new beds for patients. Royden James, reporting for the Evening News.
The news continues after these messages. Welcome back. November 14 is known as the day to recognize the debilitating effects diabetes has on the world and just how it is being dealt with. Health Minister Dr. Barry Ramsaran says that he has a host of activities planned for Guyana to not only observe this day but to learn from it. Details in this story.
Healthy living and diabetes is the theme for World Diabetes Day 2014-2016 and one that Guyana's health minister is seeking to accomplish within that time. Minister Ramsaran told this newscast that diabetes is a troubling disease in Guyana and the danger it poses needs addressing across the country.
We hope to bring to the front burner of awareness that diabetes is manageable, that we can do things to change the outcome of this disease if we were to live healthy lives, if we were to stop smoking, if we were to, for example, cut back the volume of sweet and sugar and carbohydrates in our diet, and if we were to do certain other things which this program is intended to bring to the public.
With that in mind, the health minister explained that a number of activities have already started. Minister Ramsaran says that these activities will equip persons with what is needed to preempt the disease.
Diabetes is one of the 4 categories of diseases that take a heavy toll on our population. It's defined as one of the chronic diseases, chronic non-communicable diseases, along with things like cardiovascular disease, which will lead to stroke and heart attack, the cancers, right, and pulmonary conditions. But since we're speaking on diabetes today, I'd like to point out that diabetes is one of the leading causes of deaths and morbidity in Guyana.
For the Evening News, Samantha Lane.
In observance of its 43rd anniversary, the Yoruba Band will be hosting the Night of Reflection on Sunday. Royden James has the details.
The Yoruba Band, which was founded in 1971, happens to be the longest standing Guyanese band to date. The band has been making several strides in Guyana and in several countries, including the United States. This year, the band will be celebrating its 43rd anniversary under the theme Reflection. Speaking to this newscast was the founder of the band, Ezzy Rocklift, who explained more about the celebrations.
The show is called Reflection. So what we want to do is to reflect on contributions made by Guyanese. That's why we have Sammy Baksh and Johnny Brapp on the show. Sharman Blackman, who I think to date is the most recorded artist in Guyana ever. And our husband Bunny House will be there. We have Keith Campbell, Pamela Gittins, young Devon Denny, and Yoruba singers, of course, featuring myself, Kenneth Rockliff, Joycelyn Rockliff, Kieran Richards, and Ralph Cole. So Sunday afternoon will be quite a treat and quite a musical experience to the audience.
The Yoruba Band is said to be the first Guyanese band to have performed at the Madison Square Garden twice in 1983 and 1984. Rockliff promised patrons a night filled with wholesome local music from experienced singers. The event will be held at the Theatre Gale Playhouse in Kingston, and the admission is $1,500. Royden James reporting for the Evening News.
On the other side of the break, you'll hear that Digicel launched its $18 million Christmas promotion. Stay with us. Welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned to TVG. You're tuned to the Evening News. Digicel Guyana Incorporated on Thursday launched its highly anticipated Christmas promotion titled Gold Hunt at Palm Court, Main Street, Georgetown, which will allow customers to win up to $18 million in cash. Bisham Mohammed has details in this report.
In a festive atmosphere, patrons were treated to goodies and live performances by Jackie Hanover, a theatrical presentation by the Marundoy cast, and a few mob dancers who thrilled those present. In a room with lighted white Christmas trees, golden gift boxes and table decorations made out of chocolates, Head of Marketing Jacqueline James said that this year the company is giving back in a golden way.
Well, this year we're giving away up to $18 million in cash and prizes. We will have 2,000 customers qualifying for $500 in free credit every week, so that gives a total of 12,000 customers able to win $500 in free credit every week. The Christmas promotion starts on November 14th and it goes up to December 28th. Customers qualifying must top up with $500 or more. They can either win free credit or they can also get a gold bar. Collect 3 gold bars, and that qualifies a customer to enter the grand prize draw, which is worth $6 million. We want to encourage customers, especially those participating in the grand prize draw, to ensure that they collect as much as they can. If you do not collect, if all the customers do not win all of that $6 million, it goes over into the next draw.
She also explained how customers can be a part of the promotion.
Every week, 2,000 customers will win free credit worth $500. you can either win, once you top up with $500 or more, you can either get free credit or you can collect a gold bar. Collect 3 gold bars and that qualifies you to enter the grand prize draw, which is every 3 weeks. And the grand prize draw, we will select 6 customers to participate in our TV game show, which, of course, the prizes, they're worth $6 million in cash. Every customer who enters the grand prize draw will also win for themselves a Samsung S5 mini handset.
James encouraged customers to take advantage of the exciting promotion. The launch was done in Georgetown, but it will be promoted in all 3 counties of Guyana. Bisham Mohammed, The Evening News.
Thanks, Bisham. Overseer of the NDC of Grove, Parmanan Babulal, said the 2015 budget already covers expenditure to develop 2 playfields within the scheme. One will be located in the Diamond area through 11th Avenue and the other in the Section A Grove area. Babulal explained that the only work the budget will allow for in the year is the landscaping of the fields, as there are other items on the NDC's agenda. Nevertheless, the other improvements, such as washroom facilities, will fall in the following year's budget. While it is not exactly sure why the field was never developed, he suggested it was probably owing to financial difficulties within the council. He said that this new body of councillors only came into effect some 2 years ago and will work to give the residents their long-awaited playfield. Let's take a look at your bridge reports this evening. The Demerara Harbour Bridge is expected to be closed from 11 hours on Saturday, November 15 for a period of 1.5 hours. The Berbice River Bridge is expected to be closed from 10 hours 5 on Saturday, November 15 for a period of 1.5 hours. Join us on the other side of the break for your sport news.
Every day presents a few more challenges. Keeping your business running shouldn't be one of them. That's why we work every day towards ensuring your overall satisfaction. With over 100 skilled technicians and engineers equipped with the tools and skills to help you do more. With the largest parts inventory in Guyana, over 10,000 line items readily available. Driven by your success is not just a set of words to us. It is a code by which we live. That is why we are proud to say that we are Victory!
Welcome back together. Let's take a look at your sport headlines this evening. Deanna Ryan innings critical to keeping Jaguars afloat. Safety measures in place for motor racing championships. Nainval named to AIBA executive and horse racing to go ahead without feature race. The news is brought to you with the kind compliments this evening of Marcorp.
Every day presents a few more challenges. Keeping your business running shouldn't be one of them. That's why we work every day towards ensuring your overall satisfaction. With over 100 skilled technicians and engineers equipped with the tools and skills to help you do more. With the largest parts inventory in Guyana, over 10,000 line items readily available. Driven by your success is not just a set of words to us. It is a code by which we live. That is why we are proud to say that we are Victory!
Welcome back. Former West Indies middle order batsman Naresh Singh Dunarine played a defiant unbeaten innings when the 2014-2015 West Indies Cricket Board's Professional Cricket League 4-day tournament against the Leeward Islands started on Friday at the Ghana National Stadium. Dunarine scored an unbeaten 73 runs to steer the Ghana Jaguars to a respectable 230 for 5 after the first day's play. Test icon Shivnarine Chandrapal supported with 45 runs as the pair put on a partnership of 83 runs before Chandrapal was dismissed. Christopher Barnwell shared the crease with Dunarine to close out play on 24 runs. Guyana will aim to improve during the match in order to start the tournament on a very high note. Motor racing is a highly dangerous sport, and with the final leg of the Caribbean Motor Racing Championships less than 24 hours away, race director of the championships Kit Nascimento spoke with this newscast on some of the safety measures in place for the event. Tristan Joseph reports.
Patrons will not have much to worry about with regard to their safety, according to Nascimento.
First of all, the preparation of the track. It ensures that there are barriers where they need to be to protect spectators and indeed reporters if a car comes off the track during racing. Spectators areas have been designed so that spectators are not in any area where they could possibly get hit or damaged by a car coming off the track.
Meanwhile, the most significant change for safety reasons has been the repositioning of the start line. Nascimento explained why.
We have repositioned the start line for one particular reason. The start line has been too close to turn 1, so that cars tend to pile up on turn 1 and make it dangerous, and the possibility of accidents going into turn 1 at the beginning of a race are very real. So we moved the start line back to give the lead cars sufficient space to get into the right racing line.
The meet will pit the best drivers in the Caribbean against each other and is expected to start from 1000 hours.
Thanks, Tristan. President of the Ghana Boxing Association, Steve Ninval, is now the first official from the English-speaking Caribbean to be named to the executive body of the World Amateur International Boxing Association. The World Body of Boxing had its Congress over the past 2 days in Jeju, South Korea, where Ninval was elected. The AIBA executive body is made up of 20 persons from around the world and makes most of the decisions for boxing. Meanwhile, Ninval highlighted that his decision to be on the executive body simply means that the voice of the Caribbean will be heard in the inner chambers. Despite the absence of the feature race, over 50 horses are expected to participate in tomorrow's Bush Lot United Turf Club one-day horse race meet at the Seaview Park, Bush Lot, West Coast, Berbice. Organizers of the one-day horse race meet were left with no alternative but to reduce the program to 7 races after the featured D-class race could not acquire the number of entries. Coordinator Lekram Sukdio told this sportscast on Saturday that only 3 horses registered for the feature race, which was simply not enough. Race time is set for 13 hours and admission to the venue is $1,500 for adults. Children will be admitted free and parking will cost $1,000. And that has brought us to the end of the evening news for today, Saturday, November 15, 2014. Please remember to get a copy of tomorrow's edition of the Ghana Times for details of these stories and other news. I'm Michael Young. Thank you very much for joining us. Be well.